When you look at a home designed by the architect Frank Lloyd Wright, you might wonder, what is so impressive about this 1960s home? That is, until you realize it was built in the 1920s. His innovations in design are now commonplace. The same can be said of how Richard and Renee Goldman changed what we expect from our schools. Richard and Renee grew up in Western Pennsylvania and were drawn to the University of Pittsburgh's new Master of Arts in Education program that offered would-be teachers exposure to a broad range of liberal arts while also preparing them for the classroom. The Goldmans' foray into entrepreneurship started in 1984 when Renee decided the couple should transform preschools from being little more than group babysitters in private homes and church and synagogue basements to instead focusing on educating the children in an environment built specifically for the purpose. The result was a $1 million building and the first Another Generation preschool. There were eventually 6 such schools enrolling 1,200 students. The schools were among the first preschools to be educationally accredited and serve as the prototype for what parents expect today. The Goldmans' next endeavor was to launch a K-12 school known as the Sagemont School in 1996. The school introduced a wireless laptop program, which used technology in ways that were decades ahead of other elementary and secondary schools.
The Goldmans are very accessible. They're there, you see them. Renee Goldman is greeting the lower school kids. They're at the sporting events, they're at the theater programs, they're at the PTA affairs. They're the heart and soul of the school. They have a passion for the school.
That understanding of the power of technology and the focus on the personal touches led the Goldmans to launch a fully online high school. The concept was so new that the Goldmans helped the accrediting organization write standards for measuring such schools and even launched a publishing company focused on supporting the curriculum needs of the other schools that followed in their wake.
This was very, very innovative. And also, I believe that it was an uphill battle. I think the qualities of what they do in the world is that they're doers. They don't sit back and watch things happen, they make things happen. They're innovators and they're activators.
Spurred by the concepts learned while at the University of Pittsburgh, the Goldmans continued to innovate. This time, launching a fully online school for adults who dropped out of high school. The concept drew the attention of companies such as McDonald's and Walmart. Of the 15,000 graduates to date, 72% have gone on to college. Then, in 2017, the Goldmans combined their previous concepts to launch their most innovative enterprise yet. Exceed Preparatory Schools are hybrid micro-schools designed for students in grades 6 through 12 using a highly personalized learning approach. The facilities look like modern offices with open space and huddle rooms where students work on their own schedules at their own pace, with teachers acting like coaches. The Goldmans' parents had modeled to them the importance of giving back, and they have been making annual gifts to Pitt since the 1970s. Then, in 2014, they made a transformative gift to the School of Education, which was recognized with the naming of the Renee and Richard Goldman, Dean of the University of Pittsburgh School of Education.
That was only the second endowment of any position in the School of Education. It was a really dramatic change in the self-perceptions of the school and essentially treat a little bit of its budget as venture capital. That ability to move the School of Education to being a little bit more entrepreneurial, being willing to take risks, being willing to be a 21st century school, I think has made a huge difference.
The Goldmans' involvement with Pitt did not end with their naming gift. They continue to make annual contributions. They willingly meet with other donors to talk about the complex planned giving tools they use. And most importantly, they are always available to speak with the dean, faculty, and students about the latest trends in education. The Goldmans want to make sure that Pitt, much like Frank Lloyd Wright, is always creating the next big idea that will be emulated by others for decades to come.
Those people that know that it's a real privilege to be associated with them. They're personally very, very charitable. They're very, very good parents. They're really very, very good grandparents. And I think they emulate the positive qualities of what people can aspire to live in their lives.
Richard and Renee, thank you for your loving and careful and considered support of the University of Pittsburgh. You're a true friend, both in your philanthropy and in the ideas that you bring our way. Congratulations on winning this award. You truly are distinguished alumni of this university.
For this, and for so much more, we honor Richard and Renee Goldman as the 2024 University of Pittsburgh Distinguished Alumni Fellows.